I don't know if I'm ready. I guess so. Here we go.
Hello. This is Mike Dole with the Mortgage Firm, and I'm here with Tom Bennick. And it is Wednesday, and every Wednesday we are here at noon, just covering a topic and answer any of your mortgage-related questions. So I've been doing this for a long time, about 20 years. Been working with Tom for about 20 years. I've been with the Mortgage Firm for about 11 years, a little over 11 years. Greatest company I've ever been associated with. So just an amazing company. Very happy to be here. We can get loans closed quickly, and we just have a great operations team. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some cool changes that are happening for first-time home buyers, things that will really help out first-time home buyers buying new houses.
Yeah, we're going to get into some changes that have taken place lately. The acronym is what, LLP, or what's known as loan level pricing adjustments.
Yep.
Loan level pricing adjustments. Well, what are those? Well, that's if Mike and I were to go and purchase the same property for the same purchase price, his rate might be obviously different than mine. Maybe I'm a first-time buyer, maybe Mike isn't, and those are called loan level adjustments. That's what's taken into consideration when we get rates, when they get interest rates and what somebody's rate is. So that's why there's so many things that go into rates. We're going to go into what are called loan level pricing adjustments today.
Well, Tom makes a great point. When somebody says, "Hey, what are the rates? What are the rates?" That's what we get all the time. So what are the rates? I mean, the rates are 5s to 9s.
Yeah.
So it depends. I mean, it's very credit score driven. It's how much you're putting down, what you're buying, condominiums, single family homes. There's a lot of combinations what go into the rates, and a lot of it factors in risk. So if you have a low credit score, you're putting very low down, then your interest rate is going to be higher. And if you have a condominium, condominiums can seem to be riskier, so they might have higher rates too. So there's a lot of things that go in there. Well, they've gone ahead and they pulled out a little bit of the risk. Like Fannie and Freddie, there's a huge push to help out first-time home buyers. So they've taken away a lot of the adjustments for first-time home buyers. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're putting a little bit of money down, you can end up with some really good rates. You can end up with better rates than someone who's got an 800 credit score, who's putting 25% down. So we'll cover that. Now, the other one is the Hometown Heroes. And Tom, you've been doing Hometown Heroes loan. We all do a bunch of Hometown Heroes loans. Great loans. They've been for educators, people in the medical field, law enforcement, nurses, just great loans. And for veterans. Any veteran doesn't have to be a first-time home buyer if you're a veteran, but we have these loans available. And these loans are pricing out very well. The interest rates are good on them. But you also get down payment assistance in the form of like a second mortgage up to $25,000. So what's nice about that is you get reduced closing cost, a better interest rate, and $25,000 to help you with all of your costs. Now, when you refinance or you sell the house, you have to pay the money back. But if you're going to get money and you don't have interest on it and you don't have payments on it and you get it now and you pay it back at some time in the future, most financial advisors will tell you that's a pretty good thing. So starting July, you don't have to be in those fields. Any first-time home buyer that falls within the income classifications, buying with a certain, within a certain price range, qualifies. And those income classifications, depending on your county, can be up over $136,000 a year. So it's available to a lot of people.
Yeah, so the requirement of us having to look up if you were qualified because of the line of work that you're in, apparently it's going to be for all first-time home buyers. And I don't mean to say the word all, because I'm sure there'll be some kind of limitations maybe on something. But a first-time home buyer is somebody that hasn't been on title to a primary resident in the past 3 years. But other than that, I believe that's the only requirement as far as the first timer. And with VA, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer on a VA Heroes loan. So yes, that'll open up the first-time buyer program, and the $35,000. They're going from $25,000 to $35,000. So that's certainly going to help. I think what we're seeing is because prices of houses are going up, there's really nothing we could do with property values continuing to rise. So I'm thinking what they're doing is coming out with loan programs to make it easier for first-time buyers to qualify.
It's definitely, and what Thomas said is, depending on the county, your restriction is going to be your income. But again, that income is a substantial income. So, and also haven't had a primary residence. So we've had people that bought a primary residence 4 years ago. They lived in it for a year, then they moved to Florida, and they've been renting for the last 3 years. They count as first-time homebuyers. We also have, if you've been displaced for certain reasons, such as a divorce. So let's say the two people get divorced and the one person is displaced out of the house, one person gets to keep the house, then that person may also qualify as a first-time home buyer, even though they were on the ownership of the house, but now they're being displaced, they may have the opportunity. So that's a great thing too, and that's something that's fairly new as far as being a first-time home buyer.
And on the call yesterday, when we were kind of going through all this, I think it was for about 45 minutes to an hour, one of the questions was brought up. What's the motivation behind some of this loan level pricing adjustments when you're giving people that are putting down less money, maybe a better rate than the people that are putting down a little bit more money? And that's basically the motivation, was to get people in their homes. Again, we've said it before, real estate is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, wealth accumulation or help wealth building. Home ownership is one of the biggest ways to accumulate wealth, for lack of a better word, whether it be in equity or whatever, than any other type of investment, supposedly. So anyways, that's why they're doing it, to help people get into their first houses.
Yeah, we'll do a quick look before we get too much into the loan pricing adjustments. Is we do a lot, again, with the Hometown Heroes and with the bond programs. But you can see right here, the Hometown Heroes, if you're FHA, VA, USDA, the Hometown Heroes is pricing out at 6%, and that's without a point. So even the Fannie and Freddie, if you're at 80% of what we consider to be area median income, you're pricing at 6% too. So the rates are really come down on these. And Fannie and Freddie, 6.125, again with no points. And then when we come down to the bond program is 6%. With a point, and Fannie Mae is 6.75. So we would send a lot of people into the bond program that didn't qualify for Hometown Heroes. So we do a lot of bond work if you're not within one of the professions that counts for the hero. But we'll be most likely moving a lot of those up when you can start seeing that you can do a conventional loan at 6.125 versus 6.75, and the income guidelines are more expanded on the Hometown Heroes versus the bond program. So I see us doing a whole lot more Hometown Heroes come July. So that'll be interesting. Let's look at one other quick thing too. Let's look at the guidelines for, and the guidelines being, just real quick, on the restrictions on Hometown Heroes. So we want to come down and take a quick peek at some of the income limits. So let's get this blown up a little bit.
And there are income limits for the Heroes program. And I have come across, in my experience, since it has come out, people that regretfully don't qualify because they make more money than what the income limits allow. Please don't let that bother you, or please don't let that be a kick in the teeth. That's a good thing. I'm not trying to say the Heroes program isn't a great opportunity. It certainly is. But if your income exceeds what the maximum is allowable, please, it's not a bad thing.
It's always good. I say there's two things: making so much money that you don't qualify for some of these programs.
There we go.
Good thing. And we do a lot of stuff too for people that are we're trying to pull money out from like a 401, but they're not old enough. They're not 59 and a half yet, so they can't start pulling money out of the 401. I say that's also a good thing too. So not being old enough and making too much money, those are good problems to have.
Right.
So, all right. So if we come over here, you can just look. You can see in Broward County for Hometown Heroes, your limit is $136,050.
Are you sharing screen? Sorry.
Oh, geez. Let's get back to that share.
Yeah.
You're not seeing the screen then?
No. Okay. Just our mugs.
Right. Oh, that's not good at all.
Especially without Elizabeth.
All right. Let's get back into that.
But the income limits go by county. So what we do is we take a look and see what the income limits are once you qualify or once you apply for a Heroes loan. We go into this chart that Mike's going to pull up, and yes, it shows us what the income limits are for that county to qualify.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think we need to really take into consideration bonuses and overtime. If your base income qualifies you, let's say, but if you add your bonuses and your overtime, now you make too much money. I don't believe we need to count that bonus and overtime. I think we can qualify you just based on your base income.
All right, we'll pop that up real quick again.
And we are waiting to get full confirmation. So what we're talking about as far as being qualified for every first-time home buyer is coming down the pipe. It has not been blessed yet, apparently. But from what we're gathering, it should be in the next 60 to 90 days, give or take.
All right, so we've got, let's toss this in right here. So you missed my whole intro then, which didn't come in a share. So here we've got the heroes and the pricing adjustments, and then the information on the heroes program. And then let's pop in before we jump into this stuff right here. We'll go ahead and do a quick peek at those income limits. Okay. All right. So here you can see Broward County, $136,000 is the income limits there. You can see as you start going into the rural areas, you start dropping down to $118,000. You come into Collier County, $141,000. And we say this is called qualifying income. This is different from bond money. So if you're looking for bond money, we take everybody that lives in the house, whether we're counting their income or not. So we might qualify you on $60,000, but when we add everybody up in the house, we might see $150,000 and you don't qualify. Well, with Hometown Heroes, maybe you're making $136,000 in salary, and that's all we need. And we don't need to see overtime bonus and stuff like that. So the $136,000 allows you to qualify for the Hometown Heroes, if that's what we're using for the qualifying income. So you could have two individuals, that are making $136,000 each. So here you've got, $272,000 of income right there, but you're qualifying under one person's income. They qualify for this Heroes program. So it just opens up to a lot of people. And I think that Collier County we might have Dade County might be up there too, but I think 141 might be about the top that you get. And 136, actually Miami-Dade is 146.
There's a 153.7 Monroe.
You see Monroe down in that's down in the Keys, I believe, right? So,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, 153.7. So it's very good. And as you come across over here to the right, you can see the loan limits are in general 472,030. For Broward County, 557,750. Let's come down to Palm Beach because we do a lot in Palm Beach. But you can see Palm Beach is 557,750 for an FHA loan. So that's pretty solid. And then 726,700 is the maximum for a conventional loan. So that's pretty good stuff. All right, let's jump over now. Now the loan level pricing adjustments, those are a little bit more complicated. But the bottom line on these is it's having a loan officer that understands this, so we can look, at what might make sense. Okay. So as we come across here, we'll just kind of take a look. Like you have standard pricing. So if somebody is putting, let's start right here. If you got a 780 credit score and you're putting, 75% down. All right. I'm sorry, you're putting 25% down. So you've got a 780 credit score. You're buying a single family house and you're putting 25% down. Your rate is your rate. That's just what it is. There's no risk so much. I don't want to say no risk, but the risk is the base risk on where they start pricing the loan. So you have no hits or no pricing adjustments. So somebody who now wants to put only 20% down, that same rate, if they wanted that same rate, they would have to pay 0.375. So let's use the example of $100,000. Okay. So if you're going to get a $100,000 loan and you want to put 20% down and not 25% down, you're going to end up with 0.375, or let's just call the loan is $100,000. So it's going to cost you $375 for that same rate as somebody who had higher credit scores. They wouldn't pay anything for that rate. And you can see as you get up here and now you're putting only 15% down, you're paying mortgage insurance, but it's the same cost. Now this one here is very interesting. You put 10% down instead of 15%.
you pay less. You're paying $250 for that $100,000 loan. And then you can see as you get up here and you're borrowing greater than 95%. So you're doing a 3% down loan, conventional loan, you're only paying $125 for that same rate. So that's big. The 3% down loans used to be expensive loans. So I would push customers away from 5% down loan, away from 3% to 5% because that 3% down was costly. Now the 3% down loan is a good loan. Now the 780 is a tough credit score. Let's jump down to something that we probably run in a little bit more with first-time home buyers.
And I just want
Yeah, go on, Tom.
I'm sorry. I just want to touch on this is a complete oxymoron than the normal in the industry. So if you're thinking that there's something wrong with this chart, there isn't. But it is very unusual that a borrower would be now charged less for putting down less money. Usually a borrower, of course, is charged more for putting down less money. But this is, again, one of the motivations to help first-time buyers get into the front door, buy a house.
Right. The incentive is that it's the understanding that our economy is so built on housing and first-time home buyers. And first-time home buyers have been left out of this market. So this is a way of at least incentivizing them to buy now. So if we come down to something a little bit more realistic, 700, actually, let's jump to the 680 to 699, because a lot of times you take a lot of hits there. So the 680 to 699, you can see right through here, you automatically, even at 30% down, you're starting to pay for that same $100,000 loan. You're paying $625 for that same rate. And you can see now as you're putting, now as you're putting 25% down, you're starting to pay more. As you put 20% down, it would cost you $1,750 for that same loan. As you put 15% down, it's costing you a little bit more. But now as you put 10% down, it's costing you less. As you put 5% down, it's costing you a little less. And as you put 3% down, it's costing you even a little less. Now, something of interest to me is if you have a 680 credit score or you have a 660 credit score, 3% down is costing you the same thing. Now, I will say the mortgage insurance is one we want to start pricing out well, because you might start getting crushed on that mortgage insurance. So this is where we look really strongly at, do we take you FHA or we take you conventional? Because as the rate starts increasing substantially, in conventional, that's when FHA starts, becoming a better option. But let's just take a look a little bit, like as you come down here. So when people say, is the rate high? Your rate hasn't gotten higher. The cost for that rate has gotten to be more. So as your credit score goes down, you pay more for the same rate that somebody with an 800 credit score would pay for. So as you come down right here, you can see someone with a 639 credit score on a $100,000 loan would pay $2,125 for that same loan that somebody with a 780 credit score would pay nothing. So the bottom line, and look, we can run through these, we can spend days running through these, and I know it's hard for me to follow myself as I'm talking about it, but the bottom line is that there are some significant incentives for individuals that are first-time home buyers, and if they fall within certain income calculations, this stuff can be wiped out too. So we'll talk about those also in a second. Let's come down to the bottom one too, and we'll take a look at some of your hits too. Adjustable rate mortgages. I don't know, Tom, I haven't seen much. I've got to look a little better, see if Fannie and Freddie are offering those or what they're offering, but I haven't seen them priced out much better. But we need to start looking at those because those are, I think, great options right now. It's just the pricing hasn't been so good. But look at a condo right here, a condominium. If you're doing 20% down on a condo, you're paying $750 on that $100,000 loan for having a condominium. And you can see you continue to pay that $750 the whole way through. Now, on investment properties, boy, you can see when you're trying to put a little bit down, because I have customers all the time saying, can I put 20% down on investment property? Yeah, you can. But that $100,000 loan is costing you $3,300 for that rate. Where if you put 5% down more, Now it's costing you $2,100. So it starts getting to the point where it starts getting very expensive. If you come down here, you can see second homes have a serious hit. Manufactured homes, not so much. Manufactured homes, we don't take much of a hit on them. But multi-unit properties take hits. And if you have subordinate financing, like a first and a second, we do first and seconds, you also end up with some what we call loan level pricing adjustments. So all things to think about. Now, this is huge, okay? This is huge. If these loan level pricing adjustments can be waived for a few things. So if you fall under Home Ready, the Home Ready loans are specific loans that if you qualify as a first-time home buyer and you fall within certain income limits, within certain pricing limits, it comes back and says you qualify for the Home Ready loan, all your pricing adjustments are gone. All those pricing adjustments are gone, so they're waived. All LLPAs will be waived for the following loans. That's giant. So you're putting 3% down with your 680 credit score, and you're getting priced the same as a guy with an 840 credit score putting 40% down. That's unbelievable. So loans to first-time home buyers with qualifying income less than or equal to the 100% of the area median income, or 120% in high-cost areas. Well, the big thing about that is the area median income, depending on where you live, might not be all that low. You could be $80,000 or more area median income. We'll price out a lot of our stuff at 80%, but still 100% of the area median income, if you fall within that classification, all that stuff's wiped out, which is just incredible. We have other types of things where they can potentially be wiped out, and those are manufactured housing, including manufactured housing advantage, rural housing, some types of those loans, loans to Native Americans or tribal lands, loans originated by small financial institutions. We got to look at that one there. And then affordable housing preservation loans, loan financing, Energy Star certified improvements. So you have opportunities out there to go ahead and just have all these hits wiped out. So it's absolutely, I mean, this is huge. But the part that's more important is, are you working with loan officers and lenders that understand this stuff? So you want to make sure that you're working with the individuals that understand these things. And we also want to take a look at, if we have the ability to start wiping out these loan level pricing adjustments, what are we looking at if we don't use these, versus if we go to like a Hometown Heroes or a bond loan? So we want to make sure that, okay, are we getting you this money for the second mortgage or for bond or for the Hometown Heroes? But we want to make sure that that pricing is still really good pricing versus the pricing if we don't have any of these adjustments. So there's just a little bit more to think about, and there's a little bit more on your lenders to make sure that they're looking at what's best for you.
Yeah, this is definitely a lot of, well, let's see. That's why we ask all the questions. We ask so many questions when we're talking with you, because we've got so much research to do to find out the best loan program for you. I know maybe on the outside, it just kind of seems like we take a name and number, your social, put credit, and there's your loan. But behind the scenes, there is a plethora, that's a pretty big word for me, of loan programs to choose from that we've got to kind of, okay, which one's best for you? This one might have the lower credit score. This one's got higher mortgage insurance. This one offers 0 down. This one offers that. That one offers this. So this is why we ask so many questions. And that's why it is, we certainly want you to work with us, because we are the best thing going, I think, in South Florida. That being said, if you don't, work with somebody that is going to break this down with you and at least answer all your questions so you have an idea of what's going on.
That's also Central Florida, North Florida, West Florida,
there we go.
And most of the southern
state of Florida, I should say.
We got somebody trying to get in here, but I don't know if we can get him in. There's something's not working here. Let's see. There we go. Look at that.
That was so mean.
Oh no.
Look at, she jumps in after we put everybody to sleep with all the numbers.
Yeah, and she comes in with her red dress and her washed hair. She's ready to go.
All right,
You only get this on Wednesdays.
All right, let's see. Well, look, we're even going to put your name up there. Look at that.
There you go.
Well, no, what I love is that I know that I'm chiming in. I'm sorry, like the last few minutes, but I know everybody probably got just like it was probably better live than ever whenever I'm not here. So you guys are fine. But we love just being able to see our clients just face to face, and we just take our time with them, and that's pretty much what I was doing just now.
Well,
Yes,
yeah.
Elizabeth was meeting with some customers.
And there's a lot to explain. And that's why sometimes, we do enjoy doing the face-to-face. And if that's hard to do, we have no problem doing a Zoom meeting, because I too am very visual. I kind of like to see what's going on. And so, that's why we do like meeting with customers, putting this down on paper in front of you, or doing Zoom meetings to explain exactly what's going on. That's why, Elizabeth, you're a true professional.
It's nothing to do with the taco truck being here on Wednesdays.
Okay, gotcha. Believe me, I'll be there as soon as we sign off.
Yeah, boy, Wednesday seems to be a busy day at the office with tacos al carbone out front. So that's always interesting. Now, Elizabeth, these loan level pricing adjustments, I mean, this is huge. If you fall within, like these home ready loans, wiped out. They're all wiped out. Condos, it looks like condos too. It's condos hits, but we got to look. I know home ready and some of these first time home buyers, we can have reduced mortgage insurance. But we really got to take a look, because the mortgage insurance, and I know, I think it was Elizabeth, you made a good point. It's sort of it's that hidden interest rate that nobody talks about. So you can end up paying a lot of money in mortgage insurance. You start doing a low money down loan with low credit scores. I mean, you can be absolutely surprised. I've seen mortgage insurance $300-400 or so, depending on the size of the loan, and that's something that you just don't always factor in.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and of course we all know rates vary. By the way, none of these loan level pricing adjustments apply to the Hometown Heroes loan. That's a completely different program, a completely different rate sheet. Yeah. So none of these adjustments that we're talking about applies to the Heroes loans. But Mike brings up a good point, and so does Elizabeth. Sometimes, even though you're so focused on the rate, well, yeah, but your mortgage insurance is going to be $500 a month. So
how awesome that looks.
Yes, look at this. Look at this.
I know.
That's a nice one. That's a nice one. 3.2. We were up at, look at this right here. We were up at 3.98. I know we had 4 somewhere in here, 3.97, but we definitely had a 4. So we haven't had a 3.2, and this is the 10-year yield I'm looking at. So the 10-year yield, we haven't been at 3.2 for a while. So 6 months, 3.2. Wow. This is the best we've had. Let's look back like a year or so. Oh yeah, go back, look a year. It's not quite so good, but still, these are the rates back. Yeah, these were the tough times, because the rates had come back down. We thought everything was nice, and then we just had a quick rise. So I'll tell you right now, this is good, and this is when the rates are getting to something that we're starting to hit with a comfort level. So if we could just keep the 10-year down in the 3.2 range, just huge. This is absolutely huge as far as, I think, just consumer confidence and just getting loans into, payment ranges that are somewhat reasonable.
Yeah, the conversation that I just had with, the gentleman that just left, it's going back to whenever the time is right for you to purchase. And he absolutely just loved it when I said that. He goes, I know the rates are a little bit crazy, but just the fact that we will stand by you, just to know whenever you're ready to purchase, whether it's, the rate, or if it's a program, if it's a bond, we'll walk you through it. We'll help you out. And if it's the right time for you to buy, that's when it's go time.
Yeah. Excellent. So, all right. I tell you, I'm feeling optimistic. I always feel that as the 10-year was going up to 4, it starts getting tough. As we're down in the low 3s, I just feel very optimistic about the timing of this. So, if we can keep it down here, I see nothing but positive for as far as we can keep these down around 3.2 or less.
Yeah.
3.3. But, and it will be interesting to see when the Hometown Hero starts coming out in July for everybody, which I love, because it always bothered me that, you have so many people that are just retail workers, frontline workers, people that work hard, many hours, don't make a lot of money, and their jobs are as hard as anybody's. And we just didn't have the Heroes loans available for them. So now we do have it available for them, which is, I think, fantastic.
No, that's big. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of like medical offices that we visited. And I think that's what probably made it the hardest when you walk in and you have like, the receptionist can't qualify, but then you have like the medical assistants. And I'm going, I've done that work. When I was in college, I did that receptionist. I promise it's really hard. And, and now they're able to do it. So I think that's going to be big. I'm so excited about the Hometown Heroes starting July 1st.
Right, right. One of the things too is, we looked at is depending on where you're buying in certain areas, you qualify too. So again, it comes back when someone says, what's the rate? What's the rate? I don't know what the rate is. When you have the house, sometimes, when we put in the address falls within certain guidelines that allows you to not have some of your loan level pricing adjustments. So depending on where you buy, that might also be very much affecting your interest rate. So
yeah, that's why we're starting to give a range on rates, because there is no just set rate. And if you're calling places and you're asking them what's your rate, they're not giving you the whole story, because how can you know the whole story by just one question? So if you call, my rates are 3% today. Well, based on what? So based on what?
Based on what is it? Yep.
Yeah, we have our quick qual, and we'll have Elizabeth do a class on quick qual one of these days. Quick qual and its lender logic is where we do our pre-approvals. We also have our mobile apps. We have the calculators online. I'll tell people, just take the 10-year, which is 3.2, and add 3 points just for ballpark figures. So I know I'm very much a ballpark person. When I'm out there looking at stuff, I want to have an idea on stuff. So when if it's 3.2. We had 3 points. Plug that into your calculator. If everything's better, you pay points. You can get something better. If your credit score is lower, and you get something a little bit worse. But it gives you a ballpark figure, of what you're looking at for payment. But it does line up fairly well. When we were up at 4% on the 10-year yield, versus being 3.275, we're probably almost 3/4 of a point lower in interest rate. So on a $400,000 loan, I mean, that's $3,000 a year savings and interest. So that's a pretty big deal when you start converting that to $3,000 a year in savings.
Well, it's going on 32 minutes. 3:30. It's going on 32 minutes. So we want to thank everybody for joining us. Please go to our Facebook page, like us, share us. Elizabeth, at the marketing thing, the Facebook. We have a class tonight at 6:30 as well.
TMFclasses.com. Go to TMFclasses.com, register. We have homebuyer classes. The basics, mortgage lending for realtors is the first Monday of the month. We have homebuyer for Spanish-speaking customers the first Tuesday of the month. And then every Wednesday of the month, we have a homebuyer class at 6:30. So go to TMFclasses.com.
Yeah, share it with like friends, families. I mean, I think people love it because you can either grab dinner, grab a drink. We're not going to judge you either one, but just sit in front of your computer for an hour with us, ask questions. We had a really successful class yesterday, and it was the first, Spanish homebuyer class. And, you get a chance to just really just have kind of a one-on-one and even talk to us on the side if that's needed. But I'm loving the classes.
Yeah. So,
all right, well, we appreciate everybody joining us. We'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll see you at one of our classes in the evenings. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye.